Boom! Welcome back, y'all, to the Simplest Speaker channel where I guide 9 to 5 employees and anybody else to cleaning business success using our remote cleaning business model. Let me just make sure everything is good to go. We are good to go. Well, you guys are seeing my lock screen. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give a thumbs up if you like the video. If you've got value from the video, if you felt that at the end of the video that I put in effort to give you some value. Man, so what's going on? Definitely tap in with the ebook. We have an ebook out now, Cleaning Business ebook. If you're looking to start a remote cleaning business, tap in with the ebook. I'll put the link within the bio of this video. If you like the ebook, if you like the content, you still have some more questions, you can do a free 15-minute one-on-one. I'll be doing one-on-one for free all of September. Got my Starbucks, got my jacket. Not even really a Giants fan, just I like the vintage look of it. But we are going to get straight into it. Once again, thank you for being here today. Let's do it. So, I wanted to talk about something because a lot of people I realize don't really talk about this for real, right? When you're running a remote cleaning business, let's be honest, right? You're running this business. You're either trying to make some side income that you can use to do whatever with. Maybe you want to put into your children's college fund, savings fund, or maybe you're trying to simply replace your income completely. Like maybe you're trying to just simply stop working for real. So one of the things I wanted to put is, I wanted to talk about is how do you replace your salary? I don't think a lot of people talk. We talk about running a business, but what's the point of this if we don't really talk about how do we actually take out money for ourselves in an organized way, so we're not messing up the business? How do we take out money for ourselves? So I wanted to simply say, I just put it as how do I replace my salary. But let's get straight into it. So look, the one of the things I talk about a lot is a method called profit first. We'll add that in. Remember the profit first method. And this method pretty much talks about I don't want to say forcing your business to pay you, but making sure that you get paid first, right? The owner gets paid first, right? But there's a way to do this right. You don't just sit there and take money and just today I want $1,000, today I want 500. There's supposed to be a percentage system to it, right? You're supposed to have multiple accounts that do multiple things that hold multiple percentages, right? So, for example, and this is like the math that we're gonna use for today. I wanna break this down, try to make it simple math. We're gonna say today's math we're gonna use for these accounts, right? And the accounts that we're gonna have, and I should mention that is we're gonna have the OP account, or we're gonna call it OPEX, which is operating expenses, where you would pay out bills and whatever you need to pay out for your business. Have owners pay, put owners P, keep it P, owners pay, right? This is where you pay yourself. We're gonna have a tax account. We're gonna have our profit account. And I'm missing actually one more. We have operating expenses, owners pay, tax, profit. And if you want, you can even add this like a savings account. It's T-Mobile Tuesday, guys. T-Mobile Tuesday. They're blowing me up. We'll call it a savings account, right? A rainy day account for your business. And with these 5 accounts, you want to break them down into percentages, right? So by breaking them down into percentages, I wonder if this works better. Let me see. Do I like this better? I'm gonna try to thicken the actual pen. By breaking these down into percentages, we know exactly what needs to get paid to what account, right? Now, you also need to establish a distribution period. And what I mean by this is how often do you want to take the money? Because the money is going, you know what? Sorry, guys. I remember what it was. We're going to have an income tax, actually, an income account. What I mean by income account, this is where all the money will come to. The money will come to this one account here, and then you break them off into these 4 different accounts. So you want to establish a distribution period. We'll go back to that part, right? Which means you want to see when are we going to actually be distributing money to the account, right? You could do it bi-weekly, you could do it monthly. Today we're going to talk about just a monthly distribution. I don't want to get too off the rails with the calculus and numbers. I want to just show you the basic general principle of this and how you could pay yourself. So we're going to say that so we have established a period. We're going to do a distribution for 1 month. Every 1 month, at the end of the month, we'll do a distribution to these accounts. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we need to establish our percentages. So the income account, which is where all the money comes from. So the income account is always going to be 100%, but don't worry about this because you're going to break that. You're going to break those 4 different accounts into that 100%. So the income is going to get 100% of your revenue, right? It's going to get 100% of your revenue. But now let's break down these other accounts, right? So it depends how you want to do it, but we're gonna just do general numbers, right? So we're gonna say that our OPEX account, we're gonna give 60% of our revenue to the OPEX account. Now we're getting to how you would, get paid, right? Your owners, we're gonna call this OP, owners pay. We're gonna break that down into, let's say we'll give you 20%. 20% pay. And then tax, profit. Tax, what we'll do is we'll break that down into, we'll make this very simple. So we'll do 10% for both. Couple things I want to talk about. One, the myth really is that business owners usually get paid last, and you usually get paid with whatever's left. But with this profit first, they want to debunk that. And I like the method, right? I think it does make sense because if the owner is not well sustained, business won't be sustained as well. Especially when you're doing the grunt work in the beginning. I'm gonna put my phone right here so I don't have to keep looking to the side. So with that being said, we have that, right? So to debunk that method, the second thing I want to talk about is that it talks about within a profit first. The profit account, which is such a cool account. So what happens is you can do a quarterly or biannually distribution or yearly distribution. So what happens is once you build up money within a profit account after a certain amount of time, you would then distribute a percentage of that to yourself as a bonus pay. So I love the profit account. Don't sleep on that account. Let's keep the train moving. OPEX, we have an operating expense, we're going to give 60%. Owner's pay, we're going to give 20%. Our tax, we're going to give 10%. And a profit, we're going to give another 10% to that. Okay. Now let's work with the numbers. So let's say we'll do something simple, right? Let's say you wanted to make 60K a year. Well, I'm not going to include tax and everything. Let's just say 60K a year. So the goal, well, let's say you're making 60K a year, but you want to replace your income. So the goal is 60K, right? So now we have to, the biggest and the easiest way to do this is say, okay, I want to make 60K. Let's do some math real quick. I want to make 60K. Let's see if we can pull up a calculator. Okay, so I want to make 60K. 60,000 divided by 12 months equals 5,000. So you would need to be making 5,000 a month. We'll say 5,000 a month, right? So at that point, sorry guys. Okay, I just want to make sure. So I have to make sure my apps are not crazy. I don't think I got anything crazy. Okay, right? So we know that if the goal is 60K, that is 5K. The monthly goal would be 5,000 a month. Monthly goal is 5K. So this is what we need to be hitting. Now this is where it gets pretty simple. But it's simple, but then it's easy, but not simple. It's simple, but not easy. I always forget the quote, right? If we need to make 5,000, right? We need to make 5,000. So we know that 20%, what would be the best way to do this, right? We're more than likely need to divide 5,000 by 20%. We're going to multiply it. We'll divide it, right? 5,000 divided by 20%. Boom. That's the number we need to hit. So if you divide, you're not going to multiply. If you divide that 5K by 20%, because this is the owner's pay, we know that we need to at least, this is minimal, be doing 25K revenue for the month. And right there, that's just a simple way to realize how to replace your salary. Once you know how much you would like to make, you need to know, okay, if I would like to make 5K, right? If I would like to make 5K and I'm paying myself 20%, I need to at least be making $25,000 in revenue. And that's so possible, my God. And that's why I say I love the remote cleaning business model, because like that is actually very possible. That's actually not hard at all, right? It's not hard at all. I've seen stories with people hitting 50,000 their third month starting this business. Not hard at all, y'all. So boom, we know that we need to hit 25K. Let's do a little bit of the math, right? So what happens if we say, okay, you know what? Maybe because the way our business is, if we change up the number, right? Let's say we change up the number and we say, you know what? Instead, we want to give the operating expense, let's say 70%. Let's say right now we have to start with 70%, and we're going to take that 10% from operating expenses. So what that would mean is if you have a monthly goal, 5K divided by that 10%, what would we need to make? Well, because we took half, all we need to do now is double this number. Because we took half, because we decreased by double with the percentage, now we would just need to double the amount of revenue that we need to make, because now it's a smaller percentage. So we would know that we would have to do 50K rev. Right? So now this is making sense. Very simple. Okay, if I'm going to pay myself 20%, I need to get $5,000 a month, to get $6,000 a year. I need to get $25,000. Mind you, now here's where I say it gets a little different. Remember, taxes. So if you want to make $5,000 a month after taxes, right, you need to probably increase that to, let's say, 30 to 35. Guys, we haven't done a tax calculation, so it could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less. But just rough numbers, we know if we want to do $5,000 a month, we need to at least be doing for 20% owner's pay, 25 for 10% owner's pay, 50,000, right? But you now know how to. This is how you would replace your salary. Now you know, okay, this is how much I would need to do, right? What would that look like on a distribution end? Remember, we're going to just work on a monthly distribution period. We're going to cut this down in half. So we're going to actually, what we'll do is we're going to say OPEX. We're going to have our 60%. We're going to have OP, 20%. Tax, 10%. And then profit, we'll say 10%. See, this is what I like about the iPad. It'll straight out the line for me. I'm not really that good when it comes to like art and making lines and shit. Okay. Perfect, right? So we got a line right here. What does it look like if we were making, let's say, 25K? Let's say we're making 50K. And for the sake of keeping the math simple, what I'm going to do is actually keep the same percentages. Okay. So monthly distribution, right? Monthly distribution of 25K. If we're doing 25K, so let's do 60%. I'm actually going to do the math on my phone. You can follow along with the math. That means OPEX, 60% would get how much? 25,000 times 60. 25,000 times 60%. So OPEX would get 15,000. OP, remember we talked about this. You would get 5,000, and then tax would get 2,500, and then profit would get 2,500. If we do the math, 5 plus 5 is 10 plus 15, we have, let's say, 25K. Now, this is the beauty that I wanted to talk about. Let's say we're doing this for 12 months, right? So let's say your profit account at the end of 12 months, if we do 2,500 times 12, let's get those math going. 2,500 times 12, 30,000. You're able to maintain a $25,000 a month every month, right? You're looking at about $30,000 profit account. And about $30,000 profit account, right? Granted, obviously things happen, but like I said, I want to keep the numbers general, and I don't want this video to be too long. They had a $30,000 profit account. And what I mean by quarterly distribution or annually distribution, let's say you want to do this on an annual basis, right? Let's say at the end of the year, each year you're going to give yourself a distribution. What is recommended is take 50% of the distribution, take 50% of what's in the profit account and distribute it to yourself as a bonus. So at the end of the year, you would get a $15,000 bonus. That's a great bonus. 15 grand at the end of the year as a bonus? Come on. That's traveling. That's trips. That's enough to take a trip with your family, get everything paid for. Like that, and that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. I love entrepreneurship. You don't get this type of bonus or whatever. A lot of times you have to be on some type of management or executive level in a job. Whereas like this, you could just delegate the task. You don't even really got to work in the business. Technically, you're at an executive level for your own company, but yeah. So this is how we're gonna line the numbers up. For the second time, I want to continue to go into the 50K, and I'm gonna actually do one more thing. Let's say you were to do this every quarter, right? Let's say you were to do this every quarter, 4 quarters within a year. So that means at every quarter you would do your profit. We'll do 2,500 times 3, right? And that should give you 7,500. Yep. That would give you 7,500. Let's say you did 50% of that. Every quarter, you would give yourself, I want to make sure the math is good. Let's say divide 50%, and so every quarter, you could give yourself a $3,750 bonus. Extra four grand every 3 months. That's beautiful. You can still take your family on a trip, or you can save that money and put it somewhere else. For the sake of time, once again, let's go to the 50K, right? So we got a 50K. We're going to do OPEX. So OPEX for 50K. OPEX for 50K. And that's why, and the one thing I like about business is like, if you want to make more money, so and this was, I know I'm about to go on a side tangent. I don't know, but keep talking about time. One thing I like about business is that in a job when you want to make more money, right, you get a small raise, right? You don't really get the control when you get that raise. But within business, you get the control when you get your own raise, because the more money you can have your business make, the more money you can technically make. So let's say you keep the same percentage and you had a slam banging month, right? Let's say you just pulled everything out the bag and you were able to accumulate 50K. So now we're looking at 50K times 60% is 30,000. So owners pay. What do you get it? 20%. Now you've created 10 grand for yourself for pay. Tax at 10%. 5,000. Profit 5,000. That should equal that 50K right here. Now let's do the same thing. Let's say you were to put that into your profit account. Let's say you can make this consistently, right? That would be 5,000 times 12. You're looking at what? 60,000. Yep, 60,000. Which means that at the end of the year, you can give yourself a $30,000 bonus, and there will be a 30K bonus. Or if you were to do it like we did last time and do it quarterly, profit, which would be, we'll do 5,000 times 3, which would be 15K, 15,000 every quarter, right? 50% every quarter. You can give yourself what? Let's do this math. 50%, that's 70. That should be 7,500. Yep. Every quarter you could give yourself $7,500 in quarterly bonus. So yeah, just like that. This is how you would kind of project and how you would kind of see how you would replace your salary. You just need to do the numbers. Okay, if the business is gonna pay me 20%, right? The business is gonna pay me 20%. How what number would I need to make to then be like to then replace my income, right? You just literally have to do the math. And a couple things I want to talk about. One, if you can lower your expenses within the beginning stage of entrepreneurship, your business won't have to pay you that much. Which means you actually don't even got to bring in that much. Which means that you could replace your income quick. If you're only making, let's say $3,000, if you're only making $3,000 a month, and your business just needs to, replace that, right? Look at what we see. 25K is 5,000. Which means less than 25,000, which is even easier, will be able to replace your income. Another thing I want to talk about before I get off. If you're able to go from 25 to 50K while keeping your expenses at the 25K level, what does that mean? You have a lot of money left over. Not a lot of money, but you have money left over. Realistically, you have a couple things you can do. You can keep that in the operating expense account, just, to have if you need something. Or, honestly, you can then, and you don't want to do this often. I'm not saying change the percentages often, but depending if you can consistently increase your income more than 25K while having the same expenses you had at 25K, you can adjust your percentage. Because maybe at that point, it's like, okay, we've been able to scale and increase the revenue without having to increase too much of our expenses. At that point, you can say, you know what? Instead of 20%, I'm going to change mine to 23 or to 25. And now you were able to give yourself a pay raise just like that. So once again, this is how you would pretty much do the math, right? You need to make sure that you know your percentages. Once you know your percentages for the different accounts, make sure, please, I'm telling you now, that's the one place I failed at. I did not get all the accounts I needed. Well, this is one place I initially failed at that I obviously made changes, but it screwed up my finances. Then it made it hard to pay myself, right? Because we're taking everything out of one account and just going back and forth. Open up these accounts and distribute the money how it needs to be distributed. You can distribute it bi-weekly, you can distribute it monthly, whatever works for you. Just make sure you're distributing the money so you can keep your finances organized. Just make sure you have these percentages. I'm telling you, if you do this just like this, it will work. Another thing I want to talk about, what tends to happen, what will happen if the amount of money that you make for your operating expense is not enough to cover the expenses. Well, what Profit First suggests is that you continue to pay yourself what you're paid, what you're owed, right? Your percentage. You have to figure out a way to decrease your expenses. Okay, we didn't make expenses. Why? That's what I always talk about in my TikTok video. Data. What are we missing? Are we paying our cleaners too much? Are we undercharging? Are we undercharging clients? Are we getting too many refunds? Why are we getting too many refunds? Are we getting too many complaints? Like what's going on? Right? We need to know what's going on because we should be able to hit these goals because other people are hitting them as well. Nonetheless, so this is how you would pay yourself. This is how you would figure out your salary, what will go into these accounts. Don't forget with the profit account, I love the profit, right? You definitely will get that bonus. That bonus is beautiful. The bonus comes in so clutch. You don't even understand. It comes in so clutch. So definitely don't forget to utilize that for yourself. Mind you, that bonus, that profit, it could be a bonus to yourself, or it could be maybe something to help the business out, right? So it could be whatever, right? So with that being said, I hope you found value in this video. Watch my TikTok video for more information. Simba the Speaker on TikTok. Simba the Speaker. I'm gonna drop my ebook link in the YouTube bio as well. The YouTube details below. I'm gonna drop as well my calendar link so you can book a call with me and talk about it. If you want to talk about this or something else, once again, please like, comment, share, subscribe if you are new to the channel. And I'm hoping to see you again. Thank you for being with us as we are getting off. And I will see you in the next video. Monday and Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday is when we drop. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And have a blessed one.